Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Uyai and Niekan coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. President Tinubu warns coup plotters in Niger Republic. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoyeno warns that his administration will not entertain any form of excuses for underperformance. Plus, Niger President Bazoum detained by guards. We will bring you details of the stories and more shortly. To begin the news this afternoon, Nigeria's leader, President Bola Tinubu, has warned coup plotters in neighboring Republic of Niger of dire consequences for their action. Reports say the Niger President Mohamed Bazoum is being detained by members of the Presidential Guard who have been given an ultimatum by the army. President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in a statement he signed, described the blockade of the presidential palace in Niamey by soldiers as unpleasant developments. He said the ECOWAS leadership will not accept any action that impedes the smooth functioning of legitimate authority in Niger or any part of West Africa. Meanwhile, the presidency today said that despite the hike in ancillary fees at several universities nationwide, tuition remains free in federal universities. This comes barely 5 days after federal unity colleges increased the school fees for new students from 45,000 naira to 100,000 naira. While acknowledging the rise in fees in federal universities in the country, the presidency insisted that these are ancillary fees and do not affect tuition. In addition, ahead of the next academic section in September, Alake said the federal government will also strengthen other mechanisms to support indigent students. From the Red Chambers now, where the Senate today condemned the Monday sit-at-home in the Southeast geopolitical zone and asked the federal government to collaborate with the Finnish government and extradite a pro-Biafran agitator Simon Ekpa for prosecution. The upper chamber also resolved to invite the Minister of Foreign Affairs when appointed and relevant stakeholders to carry out thorough investigation as well as bring other sponsors of the act to book. Meanwhile, the Senate has declared that President Bola Tinubu will make available the much-expected list of ministerial nominees within the next 48 hours, adding that the president had gone into hiding to avoid undue influence. The Senate also urged Nigerians to pray for Tinubu to be able to make the right decision within the next 24 hours, so the Nigerians will be happy with the list of his ministers at the end of the day. According to the Senate, the list will be received in the next 24 hours and that the president decided to go into hiding for the next 48 hours to enable him come up with a list of nominees that would be acceptable to all Nigerians. This was disclosed by the Senate leader, Senator Okweyemi Bamidele, APC, Ekiti Central, at his 60th birthday anniversary lecture and presentation of 2 books on leadership, communication at the Yaradua Center, Abuja. From the Green Chambers now, the House of Representatives has turned down a motion urging the federal government to take necessary steps to stabilize the naira. This decision came in response to a motion raised by Benny La concerning the government's unification policy. La noted that the importation of vehicles and other commodities has significantly decreased since the floating of the naira with a single exchange rate. She expressed her concerns about the impact of the unified exchange rate on Nigerian students studying abroad. La also warned about the potential consequences of the current economic situation. Away from that, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has issued a nationwide strike notice to seek the reversal of fuel pump price hike and other policies by the President Bola Tinubu's government. The NLC spokesperson Ben Ukwa confirmed this to newsmen today. According to him, the nationwide strike will commence on the 2nd of August. On security matters, the air component of the Operation Hardin Daji has raided the hideout of a terrorist kingpin known as Alhaji Namhasha in Berin Magaji, local government area of Zamfara State. It was gathered that Nashama's enclave was destroyed and some of his foot soldiers were killed during the raid. Reports say the raid was carried out following the intelligence report that terrorists were planning to launch an attack and rustle cattle. In another development, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Igbetokun, has unveiled a smart policing initiative to enhance swift and efficient response of police personnel during emergencies. Igbetokun, who unveiled the police VGS Quick Emergency Reporting and Response System in Abuja, said it would revolutionize police response to emergencies. According to him, the police VGS Cares application has been modeled to ensure prompt response and referral during accidents, natural disasters, medical emergencies, criminal incidents, and intelligence sharing. The IG added that the initiative would make a huge impact in saving lives, combating crimes, and securing communities. Back here on the home front, the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Moino, has warned that his administration will not entertain any form of excuses for underperformance as he sets out to deliver good governance to the people. Governor Moino stated this at Ibom Icon and Golf Resort as the first ever policy converge. Akwa Ibom Dialogue enters day 3 today. The governor explained that the business meeting was packaged intentionally before constituting and assigning portfolios to would-be members of the State Executive Council to ensure all-round concentration and a comprehensive blueprint that would serve as a guide in delivering what is needed by the people in different sectors. He charged the commissioner designate and others who intend to play any role in his government to pay rapt attention and take the deliberations seriously in order to be able to function maximally in any area and ministry that they will be assigned to serve. He warns that once the timeliness and timelines are set for delivery in various sectors, excuses for failure would not be tolerated. Governor Eno urged all to gear up and bring their best to bear as he intends to adopt private sector approach in the running of government business with a view to ensuring improved welfare for Akwa Ibom people. Governor Moino specifically thanked the former Minister for Power, Professor Bath Naji, for his time, intellectual and professional input that would help solve the problems in the power sector, even as he commended resource persons from various sectors for their unreserved contributions at the summit. The governor stressed that he would do all he can, adopting strategies recommended by experts in the course of the policy summit to ensure full implementation of goals packaged in the Arise Agenda document for the good of the people and development of the state. Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly yesterday screened and confirmed the 24 commissioners and special advisor nominees sent to it by the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Moino, and by implication giving its go-ahead for the selected individuals to be assigned portfolios by the governor and ushered into the State Executive Council of the new administration. Their confirmation followed the motion moved by the Deputy Leader of the House, Otto Wong Bob, representing Nserubium State Constituency and duly seconded for the adoption of the report of the House Committee on Judiciary, Justice, Human Rights and Public Petitions after their individual screening on the floor of the House. During their screening, all nominees on the list took turns to reel out their resume and furnish the House with what is expected of them if given the opportunity to serve. Also, individual representatives of their respective constituencies vouched for the nominees' pedigree and quality for service delivery. After the individual screening of the commissioners and special advisor designate, with the motion again moved by the Deputy Leader of the House, Otobong Bob, for their confirmation, the Speaker of the House, Udeme Otong, in his decree, urged the Clerk of the House to convey the resolution of the House to the Governor. Consequently, sitting was adjourned to Tuesday, the 1st of August, 2023. Moving now to Africa, where Niger President Mohamed Bazoum is being detained by members of the Presidential Guard who have been given an ultimatum by the army. According to reports, disgruntled members of the Guard sealed off access to the President's residence and offices, and after talks broke down, refused to release the President. Bazoum was democratically elected in 2021, taking the helm of one of Africa's poorest and most coup-prone countries. Still in Africa, Kenya's President William Ruto says he is ready to meet opposition leader Raila Odinga amid the recent cost of living protest. Reports say this comes after Odinga held a media briefing claiming that Ruto had snubbed an offer of the Tanzanian president to mediate between the government and the opposition. According to reports, Odinga has been leading protesters to push the government to lower taxes and ease other price hikes. On the foreign scene, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Lavrov has expressed his intention to consistently develop bilateral ties and strengthen the cooperation between Russia and North Korea during talks with his North Korean counterpart in Pyongyang. Reports say the defense minister is leading a Russian delegation visiting North Korea for the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. Shoigu emphasized the rich history of cooperation between Russia and North Korea and noted that the interaction between the two countries was strengthened in the post-war period. Still on the foreign scene, the United States has announced a new $400 million military assistance package for Ukraine featuring ammunition for artillery and air defense systems. The announcement comes as Ukrainian troops press ahead with a slow-moving counteroffensive against invading Russian forces. The package includes munitions for both Patriot and NASAMS air defense systems, as well as Stinger missiles, 155mm and 105mm artillery rounds, 32 Striker armored personnel carriers, and more than 28 million rounds of small arms, ammunition and grenades. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said the assistance is aimed at strengthening Ukraine's brave forces on the battlefield and helping them retake Ukraine's sovereign territory. Still to come in the news. Chelsea closed in on deal for Mohamed Kudus. Stay with us for details after the break. Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has reaffirmed its commitment to gradually phase out the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes while issuing new currencies. The acting governor of the Apex Bank, Falashon Dunshombi, made the announcement during the Monetary Policy Committee meeting held at the CBN headquarters in Abuja. Recall that in October 2022, the former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele unveiled plans to redesign the 200, 500 and 1,000 naira bills. As part of the initiative, he called on Nigerians to deposit their old notes before January 31st, 2023, as they would cease to be legal tender after that date. Still in business, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has projected that Nigeria's economic growth will decline in 2023 and 2024 due to security issues in the oil sector. It stated that the country's economy would grow at 3.2% in 2023 before declining to 3.0% in 2024. The IMF disclosed this in its latest World Economic Outlook update, Near-Term Resilience, Persistent Challenges, July 2023 report. According to the report, Nigeria's growth is below projections for the sub-Saharan African region, which is expected to grow by 3.5% in 2023 and 4.1% in 2024. It stated that while its forecast for 2023 was modestly higher than predicted in its April 2023 predictions, it remained weak by historical standards. In health, the federal government has expressed concern over the growing number of Nigerian children between the ages of 5 and 11 working under hazardous conditions across the country. The federal government lamented that 39% of Nigerian children are engaged in the worst form of child labor and are used quarrying granite, artisanal mining, commercial sexual exploitation, armed conflict, and sometimes become victims of human trafficking. The Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, in a statement by its Director of Press and Public Relations, Olajide Oshondun, said the figures reflected the degree of urgency required by the various actors working to stop child labor to provide solutions to the reduction and possible elimination of the act in Nigeria and globally. The statement highlighted some of the challenges in ending child labor in Nigeria, to include culture, religion, poor educational system, inadequate social protection systems, and wrong perception and ignorance. Still in health, mental health experts have asked Nigerians not to indulge in the use of drugs and substances to cope with the current dire economic situation in the country. They said what Nigerians need to do is to develop coping strategies and abilities to help them navigate their unpleasant and traumatic experiences plaguing the country. The medical director of the Facility of Psychology, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, Dr. Olugbenga Owoye, in an address centered on the need for Nigerians to have renewed hope, said a lot of mental health conditions are occurring in recent days, stressing that clinical psychologists have a role to play in raising awareness on how Nigerians can cope with the current situation. In sports, Jennifer Hermoso and Alba Renando both scored twice as Spain qualified for the last 16 of the Women's World Cup with 5-0 win over Zambia today, a result that also propelled Japan into the knockout phase. The feat again, Alexia Putellas has handed a start by Spain coach Jordi Vilda, and she reportedly played a part in early goals by Teresa Abella and Hermoso at Eden Park. Meanwhile, substitute Renando scored twice in the second half, leading Spain to their remarkable victory. Still in sports, Chelsea are on the verge of agreeing personal terms with forward Mohamed Kudus as they look to secure the services of the Ghanaian international. According to Football Insider, the 22-year-old is believed to have been settled at £40 million, and Kudus is keen to join the Blues this summer. Kudus, in the final 2 years of his contract at Ajax, is open to leaving the club should the right offer come along. On our entertainment news, Afrobeat sensation Kiss Daniel is set to take his fans on a thrilling journey with his upcoming album, Maverick. The Maverick album delves into the themes of love, growth, emotion, resilience, and introspection. The album's tracks feature infectious hooks and thought-provoking lyrics reflecting his evolution as an artist. Reports say the album is set for release on July 28. Still on entertainment, Ant Hill Studio has announced the official release date for its latest project titled Mikolo. Directed by Niyi Akimolayan, the upcoming project is a family adventure fantasy feature shot in the beautiful mountains of Ondo State. Reports say that Mikolo is set to premiere in Nigerian cinemas on August 18, 2023. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Uyai Anek, and thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your evening.